Alright, so today I'm going to show off some emulators on the PSP. Oh, sorry, I'm having trouble setting up the camera. Right, so under memory stick, under game, you'll have the 6.6, the official firmware above this. I don't have it on here because I've already got it, so below that you'll have the custom firmware. That can be run with a simple press of the X button and following the instructions on screen. After that you'll run this CIPL flasher. This is to permanently install the custom firmware. This is fast recovery. If the custom firmware ever crashes, it's a faster way of reconfiguring the custom firmware without having to go through this option again, although this option does only take between 20 and 30 seconds. So showing off the emulators. First of all, Atari 2600. One thing to note is that because I'm filming this through a camera, it does look better on the actual PSP screen. So don't take the I'll put the sound on. Perhaps the sometimes lack of picture quality is just because of the camera. They look brilliant on PSP, trust me. Let's see. Show you what the menus look like. You can just go to a letter you want, pick a game you want. I'll be doing this for each emulator. Let's see. Let's go Pitfall. Good game that. I'll turn the sound up a little bit. My favourite Atari sound effect. George of the Jungle type swinging, and then the crocodiles. Anyway, so you just press home and then you can select to quit game. I'll just be showing a short demonstration of one game from each emulator, of course, because otherwise I'd be here for hours. So next up is the Atari 5200. See, when the screen goes white, it comes up so bright on this camera, but turn the brightness on the games down a little bit. Let's see. Again, plain menus, easy to move around and stuff. Pick the game you want. Go with Berserk on this occasion. You can shrink the screen down to be a square screen rather than trying to fit the PSP screen. Oh, got killed. I wasn't concentrating. But as you can see, the games run pretty smoothly, so I haven't found a game yet that's done really badly. But yeah, it's hard to control these games and try and sort out the camera at the same time, but you can see it all works really well. There might be a bit of slowdown on the camera, but trust me, that isn't there when you use it on the PSP itself. So I'll just exit that. Many of the emulators are incredibly easy to use. I think all of them are really, but I'll trying to do a sort of beginner's guide, sort of throw through of the emulators. Next up, Atari 7800. I know what game I'm going to show on this already, so. Again, menus easy to use, just the letters, and then pick a game you want to play. Play Mrs. Pac-Man on this occasion, brilliant game. Again, you can resize the screen how you want. I'll do an example of that in a moment. Settings, and then you have to go to render mode on this particular one. Fit is usually a good option. Hold on. Ooh. And you get a better fitting picture for your screen. Again, the controls are very good and responsive. I'm just not doing very well trying to look at it through the viewfinder of the camera. But yeah, I don't need to show too much of Pac-Man. Everyone knows what Pac-Man looks like. So. Next up, our first handheld, the Atari Lynx. So with this, you will have the menu up here, game controls options, and you'll press the R button, the trigger on the top, cycle through them. You'll get a directory of letters, of course, as with most emulators. I'll pick, let's see, Ninja Gaiden 3, show a little bit of that. Again, I'm not playing these games with accuracy in mind, just showing you that they, the ones I've tried run smoothly. I've tried hundreds of games on this. So, oh, well, there's me dead, that was good. But yeah, you can see the sword and everything. Should have used that while I had enemies on the screen, but you know. Next up is an experimental emulator for the Odyssey 2. Many of the games on this run a little bit oddly, but that's because it's such an old emulator. It wasn't made with today's PSPs in mind, so you've got a very basic menu here. One game I know that does work very well, I'll just find it. If you think the sound sounds a little bit jumpy there, no, that is legitimately what the sound sounds like. Turn that down a little bit. Yeah, no, the sound is supposed to sound like that, because it's a very old... can't even get across the fast road. Yeah, the sound is very much like that on an older, I suppose you'd call it game system still. We made it across to the other side. So that's Frogger on the Odyssey 2. Now, the next emulator I'll have to show you slightly differently. It's for the Commodore 64. Now I have a second PSP here. The only reason why I'm showing you on a different PSP now is because the games on this, if you know of the original computer, because they have to load from cassette tapes, can take 15 to 20 minutes to load one game. This was usual back in the day, as it were, so I'll show you an already loaded game. I'll show you what the menus look like on this one anyway. So you've got the same controls up the top there. You've got the letters as usual, save, load, controls, options, etc. So I will show you a game running on my other PSP, just so it's preloaded, so I don't have to sit here for 20 minutes and wait for it to load. I picked this one just because it was a favourite game of mine when I was a kid. Can't see it very well on the camera. Should have picked a game with less white on it. You can see the basic thing there. This game. Oh, sorry, I completely forgot to say what the game was. It's hold on. I do know the name of the game. I'm just sorting something. Hold on. Right, sorry. Yeah, this game is Super Blitz for the Commodore 64. Just have to drop bombs and yeah. I'd have to explain this, but yeah, all the Commodore 64 games I've tried, as with the other emulators, work absolutely brilliantly. So we will go back to the other PSP, and I will exit the Commodore 64 emulator. Go to the next one, ColecoVision. You can possibly tell what game I'm going to pick by the icon if you can see it. It's a very good version of it on the ColecoVision. I'm already in D, but as you can see, it saves your position when you turn the emulator off sometimes. So the letters again up the top, option system, you move left and right with the L and R buttons. Oh, wrong button. I'm telling you what button to press and I've messed it up. Right. Yeah, press L and R to get back to the menu. Let's see. Go for Donkey Kong. Select the skill level, hold down R so the button comes up, and then you can move around on the number pad and select the number listed on screen. Again, you can sort the screen so it goes more square. I'm not going to do it on this occasion, but you can do it. Oh. Yeah, as you can see, I'm not very good. Right, pressing the wrong button, that was why. Oh. But yeah, square to jump, so I'm just terrible. But yeah, as you can see, it runs very smoothly. Love that jump sound. Anyway, so ColecoVision works easily enough. Next up, the console owners, TurboGrafx 16 or PC Engine, depending on where you live in the world. So we load ROM, and then go to game. Let's pick, oh yeah, Box Adventure. It's got to be the one to go for, hasn't it? Turn the sound up a little bit. So as you can see, again, it runs very smoothly. Just exit that. They're all fast to exit, get back to the menu, such things like that. Next up is the Neo Geo. Try and keep the screen steady. You'll notice a lot of the emulators with the more arcade setup will have this blue screen. You'll see more of these later on. Oh, didn't mean to press that, sorry. Go for Metal Slug. So it tells you on screen what buttons to press, essentially. A lot of the time it will anyway. This is normal, don't worry. So to give yourself credits on any arcade systems, press the select button. That's me putting in credits, like you would in the arcade, or you know, with pound coins, or I don't know, whatever currency you use in your part of the world.
Mission 1, start. Heavy machine gun. Thank you. Thank you. Shot. Heavy machine gun.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Completely forgot to say. No, I did say this was Metal Slug, didn't I? Yes, I did. Oh, wrong button again. So even with someone who's played these emulators for years, I sometimes forget what buttons to press. So. Next up, the Neo Geo Pocket. Neo Geo Pocket Normal and Neo Geo Pocket Color this is. So again, the menu's up top. Let's see. I will pick SNK vs Capcom Match of the Millennium. Again, don't forget this will appear a lot clearer if you have this on an actual PSP, because obviously I'm filming this through a camera, so it doesn't look as good as it will if you have it right in front of you. See how this screen is in square? I've set it to look more like the original game, or how it would have done on the original Neo Geo Pocket. This is not a game I've played much, so I'm just showing you that it runs alright. So, there's that. That's the Neo Geo Pocket / Neo Geo Pocket Color. Next up is the NES or Famicom, as it was in Japan. Games from both are on here. So as you can see, you've got a list of letters here again. I'll go down and find the game I'm looking for. This is the Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt combo. Obviously I'm playing Super Mario Brothers, not Duck Hunt. As you can see, it runs at 60 frames per second, like it would in the US or Japan. Brilliant. This is not only me showing off the PSP, but also showing off how bad I am at games. Yes, I'm not very good at Mario, as you can tell. But it runs perfectly fine, doesn't it? So, that was the NES / Famicom. I've made sure to sort all the games, delete doubles as much as I can, put in Japanese games, obscure games. There are hacked games in some of these, translations of games that never came out in English. Some of them are on here in English. Anyway, so not just this emulator, but you know, all of them. Next up is the SNES or SNES or Super Nintendo Entertainment System, whatever you want to call it, or indeed Super Famicom. There are some Super Famicom games on here. I made sure to put some of the top choices or best ones on there anyway. Luckily it saved my position, so I will go straight into Super Mario Kart. Excuse me. Again, this looks a lot better on the actual PSP than it does through a camera viewfinder, but just to show you how smooth these things run and what they sound like. As you can see, I'm terrible, but again, another game I'm terrible at. But the game runs very smoothly and very well, as you can tell. So, just go to exit. No, or I could press the wrong button and look like an idiot again. Don't worry, that noise is normal. It hangs on the last noise that's playing when you exit the emulator for a second or two. Okay, so this was part 1 of the emulators. Click to see, well, find my video for part 2 and you will see the rest of them. Goodbye for now.